Welcome back everyone to Tales by Amir, where history and legend ride together into the sunset. If you love Wild West stories filled with mystery, courage, and the human heart, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the bell, because today, we have a story you won't soon forget. Our tale begins on the far reaches of the Arizona Territory, a place where the desert wind speaks, where coyotes cry under the moonlight, and where a man's silence can echo for miles. His name was Elias Carter. A rugged farmer in his late 50s, with skin like tanned leather and hands shaped by the plow. Elias had lost everything, his wife to fever, his daughter to the train that took her to a distant city seeking a life he could never give. Year after year, he lived alone, tending a small patch of stubborn land. He had grown so used to the silence that even the birds seemed too loud. But one evening, as the sun slipped behind the red rock mesas, something changed. Elias had come into town to trade corn and buy supplies. The dusty main street was unusually crowded, people gathered around a wagon, voices filled with curiosity and unease. As Elias stepped closer, he realized this wasn't just a wagon. Inside sat a woman, calm, proud, wrapped in a blanket with intricate beadwork. She was Apache. The sheriff stood beside the wagon, speaking loudly, as if presenting a prize. "This here's the last Apache woman left behind after the relocations," he announced. "Government says she ain't got a place to go. Whoever's willing to take her in can put their name on the paper." The crowd murmured. Some looked fearful, others curious, few looked kind. Elias felt something shift inside him, like a long dormant ember flickering back to life. He stepped forward quietly. "What's her name?" he asked. The sheriff shrugged. "Calls herself Nayland. Means," he paused, struggling to recall. "Something like water. Doesn't speak our language much. Doesn't belong nowhere." Nayland lifted her chin then, her eyes dark and steady as canyon shadow. She may have been displaced, but she was not broken. Elias cleared his throat, surprising even himself. "I'll take her." Gasps rippled through the crowd. A lonely widower, and an Apache woman. It was unheard of. The sheriff looked Elias up and down, making sure he was serious. Then paperwork was signed, and just like that, two strangers, fates were tied together. Their journey back to the farm was silent. Nayland sat upright, keeping distance, watching the land like she was memorizing it. Elias tried to speak a few times, but the right words never came. How do you talk to someone who has lost more than you can begin to imagine? Life did not become easier overnight. Elias would chop wood. Nayland would sit outside, sewing pieces of hide with delicate patterns. She worked quietly, and always watched the horizon, like she was waiting for someone who would never return. At first, she refused to sleep inside the house. Elias respected that. He knew better than to rush healing. He placed a warm blanket by the door each night. Sometimes it disappeared by morning. Slowly, the silence became less heavy. One morning, as Elias was repairing a fence, he heard a soft voice behind him. "Water," Nayland said, pointing to the well. Her word was clear, her voice steady. Elias nodded, handing her a fresh bucket. She cupped a little water in her hands and held it toward him. A gesture of shared life. From that moment, they began to build something new, not through language, but through action. She started helping with chores, planting seeds, tending animals, grinding maize. She knew the land better than anyone, where shade meant moisture, where roots grew deep even in harsh sand. Crops flourished like they hadn't in years. Word spread in town. Some folks scoffed, calling Elias foolish. Others whispered that he'd be the death of himself for letting a native woman live under his roof. But Elias ignored them. He saw what they didn't. Nayland was a survivor. A teacher of resilience. One night, as coyotes howled in the distance, Nayland finally sat by the fire with him. She drew shapes in the dirt, mountains, rivers, camps long deserted. Her family, her tribe, her past. Elias listened, heart aching. When she trembled, he placed his hand nearby, not touching, just offering presence. She took it. Trust, once a fragile seed, had rooted. Seasons turned. The farm thrived. With each passing day, their bond grew deeper. One stitch, one harvest, one shared sunrise at a time. Eventually, the church bell rang in the town square. Folks gathered again, but this time Elias walked in with Nayland beside him. The preacher hesitated, glancing between them and the crowd, but Elias's eyes were firm. "We stand together," he said simply. No crowd could stop a love that had already weathered storms greater than judgment. Years flowed like river water. They aged. They laughed. They built a life from ruins and loneliness. And every morning, when Elias awoke, the house felt warmer. Filled, alive. Nayland would say something to him in Apache, and though he never fully understood the words, he understood the meaning. Where water flows, life grows. For a long time, history had tried to erase her. But on that farm, among sunflowers and singing wind, Nayland reclaimed her story. And Elias, once a man swallowed by solitude, found family again. They weren't a tale of ownership. They were a tale of salvation, of choosing to see humanity where others saw otherness. And so, in the vast Wild West, where legends roar and fade, there lived a farmer and the last Apache woman left behind. Two souls who refused to remain lost. Thank you for joining me in this journey back through time. If you enjoyed this story and want more Wild West tales filled with heart and adventure, don't forget to like the video, comment your thoughts, and share with someone who loves history as much as you do. This is Tales by Amir. Until the next story, stay curious, stay brave, and let the spirit of the West ride with you.